Hey everyone, welcome to Nerdopolitan one more time. We're here with Elle Flores. She's gonna teach us how to be healthier, much healthier with fermented culture. Hi Elle.
Fermented vegetable culture. Hi Antonio, it's good to be here.
Thank you for coming again.
So what we're doing today is I've gotten a request that how do you make fermented vegetable culture? So what we're doing here is, let's see, we have carrots, we have celery, we actually have rainbow carrots. So we have the orange carrots, we have the white albino carrots, and then we have the very dark crimson carrots that we're going to use in this recipe. And then of course we have our celery. We're also organic, and everything's organic, and it must be organic since you are going to be making them in a vegetable culture that you're going to be consuming on a daily basis. You want it to be as pristine and as clean as possible. So I recommend highly that they should be organic. We're also going to be including garlic, organic garlic. We're also going to be including the ginger. Antonio likes ginger. And we're going to be adding minerals to our culture, which is the Himalayan pink salt.
The Himalayan pink salt. So why do we have to use Himalayan pink salt and not regular salt?
So the reason we're using Himalayan pink salt is because it has the rainbow. So if you notice, Himalayan pink salt has different colors in it, and that means that each mineral that's in it has a different color, thus the coloring pink salt, pink Himalayan pink salt. This particular jar has 82 different kinds of minerals in it. The human body requires 102 minerals daily. So if you're not receiving your minerals daily through the food that you're eating, it's a very good idea to put a little bit of pinch of a Himalayan pink salt in the food that you're cooking or preparing at home so that you can at least get those 82 minerals. And depending on the brand of the Himalayan salt, there's even other types of salts. There's black salt, there's Celtic sea salt, there's many different salts, and they all offer a different array of minerals. So it's good to change them up in your cooking and if you're preparing your fermented culture. So that's why you want to add so let me also talk about this. A lot of my clients also ask this question. So they'll say, well, my doctor says I shouldn't be having too much salt, so I can't have pink salt either. And so I like to say, well, talk to your doctor and let him know that the table salt, white table salt, only has 2 minerals in it. That's it, just 2 minerals. Because
which minerals?
I don't remember the minerals off the top of my head, but they're just 2 minerals. And they're not bad. It's just that they've been isolated from the rainbow of all the other minerals that need to be working as a balance in the human body. So when you remove them, you start to adulterate them, then it's not going to work harmoniously in the body. Table salt only has 2 minerals, and those 2 minerals alone will cause havoc in the body, high blood pressure, for example. So I tell my clients who say that their doctors tell them not to consume salt, I educate them and say, well, this salt you do want to consume, and you should do your research on it and talk to your doctor about it as well. I'm not saying you need to go crazy on the salt, but a little bit of salt is good. It's the nutrition for our nervous system. It's nutrition for all of our organs. All of our organs, our nervous system, they all require minerals. And without the minerals, then in essence, they're not eating. You're not giving them food. And so they start to not work optimally as we grow older. And that's why we start having a breakdown of our organs not functioning optimally. So that's the reason why you do want to add a little bit of Himalayan pink salt.
So this one's healthier and the other one's not that healthy. So why do we need minerals? Why does the body need minerals?
We need minerals because the human body is made up of nothing but minerals. We are a tapestry of many different minerals. And when we are not consuming the minerals on a daily basis, then over time, our bodies start to break down. That's why skin wrinkles. That's why our eyesight starts to have challenges as we get older. This is why our liver, our spleen, our thyroid especially needs minerals. The favorite nutrition of the thyroid is sea salt in the form of seaweed. You can also find it in the grocery stores under Dulci, Dulsi. This is something that should be consumed on a daily. to avoid thyroid problems. And the thyroid is the master regulator of all of our hormones. So you ladies out there who are having a lot of problems, lately I've been running into a lot of women, young women who are having very heavy menstrual cycles, experiencing a lot of pain during the menses, and that is due to the thyroid not being properly given the food that it needs. It's not being considered in the diet to include the seaweed, include the Himalayan pink salt, include iodine in the diet. These are all the favorite nutrition of the thyroid, which when you give the thyroid the nutrition it needs, now it can start balancing the hormones in men and in women.
So this fermented culture we're preparing.
Yes.
It's basically to create good bacteria.
That is correct. That's
correct. Our main goal. But it also has good minerals with the salt or with the vegetables.
The vegetables in and of themselves, depending on the soil that they were raised in. If the vegetables were, even though they're considered organic, they're not going to have the full spectrum, the full array of all the minerals. We already know that the depletion of our soils is what causes our fruits and vegetables not to be as heavy nutrient content in the vegetables and fruits. So one way to help get the needed nutrient minerals in the body is to add the Himalayan salt. Yes, creating this culture is going to create a balance of fauna, flora, good gut bacteria in the stomach. And so, yes, this is a reason why we are making this recipe is for the probiotic, positive beneficial effects that our bodies will benefit from as a result of consuming this. So yes, probiotics. Now, probiotics help us in many ways. Number one, it helps with digestion. It helps to, as it's giving us the minerals for all of our organs and our skin and everything, it's giving us food, but it's also helping us clean out the piping, clean out the small intestines, large intestines, all the way out to the colon. So it's important to have a good gut bacteria balance. And one way to achieve that is, yes, you can go to the store, grocery store, and you can purchase capsules, probiotic capsules, but that can be expensive. And I know a lot of my clients just can't do that. So this is why I'm offering this kind of a fermentation course or class or video so that they can see how to make it themselves. So basically what we're doing here is we want to chop it up very fine. We want our carrots, so the carrot is a whole carrot, but we want it to be as finely chopped as possible. Yes, we're doing this by hand, but if you have one of those little machines that can chop the food up very finely, that's also very good to use.
We like doing this because it's fun.
Well, one thing I have been told, and I believe it to be true, when you do this, when you actually manually cut your food and take the time to cut your food the way we're doing today, is it's a good opportunity for you to bless the food. It's a good opportunity for you to give the food the gratitude and thanks for it to be on your table. So you're giving it your positive energy, and that also is going to help the body as well when you're giving your body food that's been blessed. That this is a very ancient type of thing that we've done, especially those who are more religious. They do pray over their food before they consume it. So this is one way that you can think of when you're chopping your food, that you can also pray over it and give it your positive energy.
So I have a question.
Yes.
This fermented culture, is it good enough to just eat that? Like, can I feed myself? Yeah, by itself. You can. Can I survive just by...
You can. However, because this is the first time we're making this for you, okay? You're not used to the taste, and I want you to like the taste. I want you to embrace the culture, the fermented culture. So I would not recommend, unless you really like strong, pungent flavors.
I do.
Then you might want to try it. See if it's something that you wouldn't mind eating, like a little snack here and there, which would be great. So another good, you bring a good point up. The point is this, that when you're eating probiotic culture by itself, meaning on an empty stomach, then at that point, it's going to actually clean the gut. It's going to go to work and repair. It's going to go and clean. It's going to remove whatever waste is in the gut, is in the small intestines, is in the large intestines, all the way out to the colon. So it's a good idea to eat probiotics the way we are preparing them today by themselves. That's actually very good. So yes.
Okay, awesome. So I want to go over like the different missions we want to accomplish with this fermented culture, or what they're good for. You know, what we've researched.
There's so many benefits to probiotics.
So we talked about the friendly bacteria in your digestive system. If you want to expand on that before we move on.
Okay, so no, that's pretty much everything. If you eat them with meals, which is recommended for people who are doing this for the first time and want to get used to consuming probiotics, it is a good idea to include them in every meal that you consume, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They actually will enhance the flavor of the food that you're eating. And for those who are starting to consume probiotics for the first time, I strongly recommend that you start with 2 tablespoons of the fermented culture to put and mix into your food. Do not place the fermented culture in hot, piping hot food, because you're just going to kill the live culture. You want to wait till the food cools off a bit, and then you can go ahead and put your 2 tablespoons of fermented culture on your food, mix it up, and consume it that way. You'll find that it actually enhances the flavors of the food that you're eating.
So you want to drink this cold or eat it cold to preserve the bacteria?
Yes, that is correct. Or room temperature.
Room temperature. What about if it's freezing? Does that kill the bacteria also?
I've never done that. That's actually a really good question.
It's a popsicle.
I know, fermented culture, popsicle form. I've never done that. So I'd have to look into that and get back to you the next time. I don't think it would really harm it, but it probably wouldn't be as potent as it would be if you're eating it fresh.
Okay. So let's move on, because we covered the bacteria. Let's move on to probiotics can help prevent and treat diarrhea.
Yes. So
how does that work?
Especially for children who have a very sensitive stomach, young mothers out there, it's perfectly safe to give your children probiotics. It's actually very good to give them good probiotics in their food, because it helps to clean their little digestive system. It helps to bring their stomachs back to balance, especially if you've noticed that your child, certain foods make them feel bloated or gassy, or they just have a little upset tummy. Adding probiotics to their food will actually calm that down. So yes, they are also helpful when it comes to children or even adults who are having problems with constipation. Rather than doing antibiotics, which, as we all know, is very harmful to the body because they kill both good and bad bacteria, whereas fermented culture actually kill the bad bacteria, but allow the good bacteria to continue living and flourish and take up residency in the stomach, which is what we want. So it is very good to help control diarrhea as well as constipation. So for those who think, I can't have probiotics because it's going to make me have the runs. No, it's going to find a balance. Maybe it's not going to be healed immediately, but if you're willing to be patient with it, within a couple of days to maybe 5 days, your whatever challenge you may be experiencing will go back to a balance.
It's hard to be patient with diarrhea, though.
Oh my God, yes, I know. So eat bananas, eat sweet potatoes, yams. Those kinds of foods will help to calm that as well.
Okay, well, what about this other statement? Probiotic supplements improve some mental health conditions.
Yes.
So does that mean we have like bad bacteria in our brains that's driving crazy?
So like the last time we talked a little bit about this subject matter, what that means is that children who are not focused in school are having a hard time with certain studies. They're just
focusing.
Not able to focus, or they're not able to just really concentrate on their studies. That is a direct relationship to bad bacteria, an accumulation of bad bacteria in the gut, and a lot of toxins. We have a lot of toxins in the system. And that contributes to foggy mind, a foggy brain, not thinking clearly, not being able to focus at work or on our studies. So one way to improve that is to introduce the fermented culture, let it clean up the tummy, let it clean up the intestines, and all that goodness will eventually start cleaning out all the other parts of our body, including our brain. After about maybe a week of being consistent with the fermented culture, eating it 3 times a day minimum, and even if you can introduce it on an empty stomach would be ideal. You'll be able to get your focus and your concentration back within a matter of days. So give it a try if you're noticing that you're kind of sluggish at work, or your children are not focused and are maybe not as excited about their subjects at school because they don't feel very confident about their knowledge skill set on those subject matters. Probiotics will help in that area.
So give it a try, and if your kid's grades go up, you have to thank her. Send her a photocopy of your kid's grades.
I'd love for you to, submit a comment if you can. Don't forget to like, subscribe on this channel. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them up, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have with regards to this subject matter or any health nutritional subject matter that you may have.
So how can the fermented culture also help keep my heart healthy?
Because it's the probiotic action. The probiotic action alone is what's helping all the organs find balance. In this world that we're living in today, we're eating a lot of fake food. And it's not just in our food that we're finding problems with our health, but it's also in the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, and the stress that we go through. So our very essence is under attack every day. So if we're being under attack every day, and if you're not doing something every day to counteract that, then over time, ignoring it, then there's going to be health problems down the line. So how does it specifically help the heart? Because of the mineral content. And these are vegetables, so it also helps to bring in that oxygen that our organs need. Now, heart attacks happen largely because of lack of oxygen to the heart. So that means that the diet is lacking oxygen. How do we get oxygen into the heart? Through the veins. All food transport, all water transport, oxygen transport happens through the veins. So every organ, our skin, our eyes, everything has a transport through the bloodstream to feed those organs, feed them, give them water, give them oxygen. The veins also transport to remove all trash. So if you're eating good food, such as fermented culture, you're allowing all the organs, including the heart, to have the oxygen that it needs, the minerals that it needs. And you're also, because you're consuming the probiotics, that are actually also going to be removing the wastes, removing the toxins that can hurt the heart, that can hurt our brain as well. That's how these probiotics actually help the heart as well as all the organs in the same manner.
And how does this fermented culture also help with allergies and eczema?
Okay, so eczema is a skin eczema is a skin problem, challenge that I've noticed a lot of newborns have, and children also struggle with this, as well as adults. And the reason for that is because the skin doesn't have enough nutrition in it to help heal itself. So you're talking about a backup of toxins in that particular area, and eczema can appear anywhere on the skin. It can appear as cradle cap for infants. It can appear as red blotchy stains on anywhere on the skin, on the arms, legs, hands, even the face, the neck, the chest, stomach, anywhere. And it can be quite painful. So one way to remedy that is, again, let's clean up all the toxins. Let's let's consume our probiotics so that the probiotics can do their work in removing all those toxins so that your skin can heal.
Okay, so we talked about how it can help digestive disorders. Are there any other digestive disorders that we should consider?
There's a lot of various different kinds of digestive disorders. The most common ones, of course, being the bloating, being gassy. But there's also others such as irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, all these various different kinds of leaky gut. There's so many. So I would strongly recommend that you work with your doctors and tell them that you've seen this video and that I'm talking to you about how this can help clean the gut and repair the gut and provide the good gut bacteria needed to help clean and digest food. So this is something that if it's the first time you're hearing about it or you don't know too much about it, definitely talk to your doctor about it. Ask him, tell him that you're wanting to try this out. And if he can monitor you as you're trying it out and see if there is a difference. And if you have a really good doctor, he would want to work with you. A lot of people are realizing the benefits of nutrition and how nutrition plays a huge part in our health. It's scientifically proven that probiotics, fermented culture, actually does help our gut and in turn helps all of the organs in our body. So, and if your doctor is hesitant in working with you on this, then I'd find another doctor that's willing to work with you to find a more natural, healthy balance to introduce in your diet.
Great. So cardiovascular system, digestive system,
brain health.
What about the immune system?
Same thing. The immune system, 80% of the immune system is in the gut. We forget that. We think it's somewhere else in the body. Like, we understand that the lymphatic system is also part of the immune system because the lymphatic system removes the toxins. It's what's responsible to help remove toxins. But the only way the lymphatic system can actually move and work for us is if we move. So again, this is where I'm going to say it's very, very important to exercise. Get your walking in, do some bicycling, do some jogging, hiking, swimming, whatever it is that you gravitate to, definitely do it on a daily basis. So you want to add these probiotics so that it will help the immune system because our immune system largely is 80% in our stomach. When our stomach is clean and our stomach is working optimally and the stomach can actually digest the food that we eat, that is a huge deal. And if that's not happening, you're going to have an impaired immune system. It's not going to be as vigilant to be able to see an invader, a bad bacteria, a bad virus. It's not going to be able to identify it as much if the immune system isn't healthy, which 80% of it is in our gut. So a healthy gut equals a healthy immune system. By all means, probiotics definitely help in that arena.
And last but not least, how can it help us lose weight?
It helps us lose weight. That's another thing that I do help a lot of my clients with. They want to lose weight and they've tried all these various different diets and nothing seems to work. So I like to talk to them about the importance of detoxing. Yes, your green juicing, all that, drinking lots of water, of course, removing certain things from your diet that shouldn't be there in the first place, but also introducing probiotics. Probiotics, again, we've talked about how it helps digest food, but it also helps remove the toxins, helps remove the waste. And I've noticed that through my clients, when they've incorporated the fermented culture in their diet, they're losing weight a little faster than normal. So I definitely recommend it for those who are struggling with weight. I would recommend definitely the fermented culture, eating them 3 times a day. And I would definitely recommend eating them on an empty stomach to help remove the waste, help remove the impurities and remove the toxins. Definitely recommend it. Good point.
Amazing. Well, that was a long but necessary introduction. And now we're going to go to what we were here for the beginning, right, which is how to prepare these fermented cultures. Right. What do we need? We have some glass bowls, cutting boards,
so the utensils,
chef cutting knife.
You need a chef cutting knife, and you're going to chop in this manner. You don't want to put your fingers anywhere near this. This is how you chop. And you want to finely chop everything.
Why don't I want to put my fingers there?
Well, I don't think you want to a piece of finger blood in your fermented culture. So you want to keep your fingers away from the blade. Please please be very careful when you're using the knife, okay? So you want to just finely chop it as finely as you can. You want it to be this consistency, just like this. And we are also chopping the celery, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah, see, I did that.
Finely chopped like that.
Voila.
And we also have chopped some garlic, and this is how finely we want it to be as well.
Wow, looks like
kind of like snowflakes.
Yeah, it looks like a dust.
Yeah, like a dust. And then we're also going to use some ginger. So what we want, you need cutting boards, you need a chef's knife, you need a 4-cup measuring cup, and I'll discuss why you'll need that later.
Why does that have to be 4 cups? There's also 2 cups.
You want a 4-cup because you're going to need this water. You want this amount of water. And in this water, you're also going to want to include in it the Himalayan pink salt, and you want to let it dissolve in there. So you want to boil the water. You want to use distilled water, not from tap. Get store-bought water and then boil it again, and then let it cool off in a 4-cup measuring cup. Throw at least a good 2-3 tablespoons of your sea salt and let it dissolve as the water's cooling. You're going to always only want to use a wooden spoon. You never want to use the plastic or even the silver when it comes to the sea salt. Why? Because the minerals can interact with various different materials such as plastic. It can even interact with stainless steel. And I just rather, if I'm going to consume this and be as clean and as pure as possible, I'm just going to stick with the wood and glass. No metal plate bowls, none of that. That's why you see all glass here. It's very important. And all your vegetables, you want them to be organic. Now, as far as the vegetables selection that we chose this because I am working with Antonio with his diet, and we do know that the carrots, celery, garlic, ginger are optimal for his diet. And so we also are using mason jars. We've chosen these smaller mason jars because they're just easier to use. There's also bigger ones. So if you're really into the fermented culture, you like it, you can definitely use the bigger ones. Or you can use even half the size. They have mason jars that are half the size of that. You're going to want to use, can you
sure.
Let me have the lids? So
yeah.
I can also talk about the lids. Now the lids are a little tricky. Why? Because they are metal. And they have this plastic. And then, so you're going to want to make sure that all of your liquid and all of your veggies are submersed underneath the water, not touching the surfaces of these metal lids. They do have plastics that you can purchase separately for these mason jars. However, they don't really seal tight the jar, and it must be sealed tight, so that the fermentation can happen. Temperature is a big deal. Right now, it's warming up quite a bit. So the warmer the temperature is out, the faster your fermented culture will ferment. It can take 2 to 3 days depending on how hot it is outside. Now, if it's going to be really cold in the wintertime, then your fermented culture is going to take a week for it to ferment. And
what if you're in the North Pole?
Even longer, probably 2 weeks. Okay. So you're going to want a warm atmosphere for your fermented culture. And you want it in a dark little cubby hole. So once they're filled with vegetable culture and sealed, you want to put them in a little bowl so that way they can catch whatever seepage may come out as they're fermenting, so they don't leave a big mess on your counter or wherever you're going to be placing them to be fermented. So something small like this, like a little bowl, you can place them in. And when they are ready to be left alone, once this is sealed, you're going to want to put them in a dark place. So putting a towel, bathroom towel over it so that the light is not hitting it. And you're going to want to put these in your cupboards away from light. And on a daily, you're going to want to check them. You're going to want to open them, let them breathe. They're going to sound like a Coke can. When you open a Coke can, it has that little sound.
Refreshing something.
Correct.
You close the can.
So it's going to make that sound, and that's normal. That's good. You want it to make that sound. That means that all the bubbles from the fermented culture that's been created here is going to start to come up to the top, and that's a good sign. That's what you want. And you're going to let it breathe just for a little bit. Now, if you notice that the water content is low when you're opening and checking your fermented culture, reserve some of this that you're making when you're starting your fermented culture. It's going to look like this, pinkish like that. That's what you want. You want it to be pink like that, and you want the salt grains to be completely dissolved. And you want to keep some on the side. Should these come down too low as far as water is concerned, and that might happen because when you open them and it makes that sound, there may be a mess. So make sure you do this over the sink so that if anything does leak out, it's going to be in your sink and not on your counters. And if that happens, you're losing some of your moisture, go ahead and put some more into it, reseal it, put the towel over it, and back in the cupboard it goes until it's done fermenting.
So when it's done fermenting, you say 3 days. What does it look like after 3 days?
Okay, so the way that it looks right now, you can see that it looks very fresh. You know how fresh vegetables look when they're freshly chopped. So once they've been immersed in the solution, they're not going to look like this anymore. They're going to look more like soup. So you know what it looks like when you're making a soup with vegetables in it? So the vegetables take on a slightly different color, not so bright and vibrant, right?
Yeah.
So same thing. They won't be so bright and vibrant. It'll be more of a soupy consistency, not soupy to the point where the vegetables are dissolving. No, not like that. They're still going to have their crunch, but because of the fermentation and the minerals from the salt, it's going to be a little bit more thicker. The juice will be a little bit more thicker. And you can even drink the juice.
Nice.
Don't throw away the juice. Like when you're done with all your fermented culture, it's an empty jar and you still have some liquid here, drink it. That's excellent for you.
Well, what about the water? Does the pink go down?
Pink stays the same.
I was going to keep looking like pink lemonade.
Yeah, it's going to look like pink lemonade. That will never not change.
Okay.
The consistency of that will not change. So once we chop all the vegetables and they look like this, then what we're going to do is, and I think this is, so feel that? How does that feel to you?
Still warm.
Still warm, but it's not hot.
It's not hot.
It's comfortable to the touch.
If it were hot, I wouldn't be holding it.
So this is how it could be.
Yeah.
It could be this warmth and cooler, but it can't be hotter than this.
Okay. If it's hotter than this, then it would hurt.
Yes.
So it's not hurting right now.
Right. Correct. So this is the temperature that's you could use and cooler.
Okay.
So warm to the touch, you could use it. If it's difficult for you to touch it, then it's not ready yet. You have to wait till it cools down a little bit more. And also, so the taste test. So the taste test is you're going to want to take just a little bit of salt, just put a little bit, on your hand, and you're going to want to taste it. And if it tastes salty, that's what you want. If it's not salty enough, you're going to want to put some more salt in it. So how do you know what salty is? Salty like the ocean. If it tastes salty like the ocean, you've got a good mix. That's exactly what you want.
It's going to be like drinking water from the ocean.
Seawater.
Seawater.
Yeah, you're out there drowning. You just drank all this seawater. That's what it's going to taste like. Okay, so what we're going to do, you know what I will need? Will these fit in here? Yeah, okay. Something I didn't mention before, it's important that when you do get your wooden spoon, that it should fit in the wide mouth jar. And that's what they're called, wide mouth jars. That's what you want. They sell others that these are more smaller up here. You don't want that. You want the wide mouth jar. You're going to see why, various reasons. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the garlic. We've already got our garlic all. While you're doing it, you're going to need to chop this up in the meantime so we can do the next one.
Great. I needed something to do.
You can use this for now. Here, just.
No? Okay.
I think it'll be easier.
Thank you.
Let's move these out of the way so you have more cutting area. There you go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of. These are the orange carrots and the albino carrots here. So I'm going to mix these. Just like that. Can you catch it on camera? Okay, cool. So then once it's mixed, you're going to want to put this culture in your jar, just like that. And you can put as much of the carrots as you want. Now we have carrots and celery. So we're going to mix the garlic. So this is I would say, how many garlic cloves do you think you chopped up?
Wow. It's hard to tell.
I think 3.
I lost count. Yeah, maybe like 3 or 4.
So these are 3 big ones. So if you take the 3 biggest ones here, like this, so this is the equivalent. 3 of these equals this chopped up. And this is what you want for this size jar. So we're gonna put all of this in here for our garlic flavored fermented culture. For those who like garlic. Now you can make them out of anything you like. We chose these. And then put more of the carrots. And once you put maybe like halfway through these, you're gonna wanna push down on them. So let's see. With your wooden spoon, just push down on them, just like that. Not too hard, just gently, so that you know that they are kind of tightly packed in there. Once you do that, the next thing is you're gonna put your celery in your jar. And again, just smoosh them in gently. And you can make them, I chose to do it this way because I just like them to look a little bit artsy. So you can see the orange, yellowy carrots on the bottom and the green celery up on top. And if you wanted to add a third one, like let's say you really like beets, you can chop up the beets really teeny, just as teeny as we chopped up the carrots. And that could be your last layer. So it could have the orange, the green, and the crimson red up at the top. It's gonna look really pretty. So you can be creative and artsy if you want, or you can just mix them all up in this bowl, a big glass bowl where you put all of your chopped ingredients. It could be the celery, it could be the onions, it could be the beets, whatever you're going to be choosing. They can all be put in one bowl. You can mix it all up really well in the bowl, and then from the bowl, put them in your mason jars. So this one is going to have a mixture of a tri-level or a double level, 2-layer of carrots and your celery. So this is how full you want it to be, just like this. And you don't want any vegetables clinging to the side of the jar. So once it's like this at the top, then you're gonna want to put your water in it. I'm right-handed, sorry. So we just pour that in till it gets all the way to the top, And I don't know if the camera can catch it, but you can see it kind of bubbling up on top. Those are all the air bubbles that are escaping from the bottom of the carrots that I smooshed all the way up to the top. So you're gonna wanna tap it just to make sure all those air bubbles are out. Just tap it lightly, just to make sure. And then you'll see the water content does go down a little bit as a result of all those air bubbles escaping. So add a little bit more water to it. Again, fill it to the top, just like that. So you want maybe, what would you say that is? Like a, I don't know, like quarter of an inch or?
That's like centimeters. Let's talk centimeters.
Okay, so,
I think it's 1 centimeter.
So 1 centimeter from the lip, top of the jar, that's where you want your water level to stop. So long as all of the veggies are submerged in the water, that's all you want. Once that happens, once that's done, you just take your lid and you go ahead and seal it. You want to make sure it's sealed tight, very tight, just like that. And then here you have a little section where you can actually write the date. Today is the 27th. So March 27th, 2021 is what you're going to put up on there so that you know the date. And then that's what it looks like. That's your done culture.
So I can start enjoying it after 3 days.
So
on the 30th.
So the next step after this, you're going to put it in a bowl like this. Okay, that's how it's going to live. And then you're going to want to take a towel and cover it. And you're going to want to take both of this and the towel in your cupboard. It's going to go in your cupboard. It's going to live there in your cupboard. And tomorrow at this same time, you're going to check it. You're going to open it, and you're going to put it in the sink, and you're going to want to let it air out. The way you do that, you're going to open it, and you're going to hear it go, you're going to hear that, and that's good. So just continue, open it all the way, let it air out just like that. Doesn't have to take very long. And then if it needs more water, the Himalayan pink salt water, you add more to the top, the surface of it.
That actually looks refreshing right now. What happens if I eat that the way it is right now?
It won't be tasty.
It won't be tasty?
It'll just taste like salty celery. That's all it's going to taste like.
Okay.
Okay.
It's refreshing though.
The flavors won't mingle yet. So fermentation is also the intermingling of the flavors of the carrot and the celery and the garlic that we placed in this particular jar. Now, this can be an actual, I don't know what you call it. It could be something very exciting if you are a person that knows what particular vegetables complement other vegetables and you want to use them in a fermented culture, you can do so. People get very creative. They can even put in chili. If you like chili, you can, again, pick your kind of chili. It could be serrano. It could be habanero. It could be chipotle. It could be whatever kind of chili you want. You choose the chili. Make sure it's organic. Chop it up really finely. If you want to remove the seeds, you can, or you can leave them in. It doesn't matter. Or you could even do this just to add more flavor. You can actually roast or saute the chili peppers in the frying pan with olive oil, peel off the skin, and include the seeds if you wish, chop it up very finely, mix it into the culture that you've just cut to be placed in the mason jar. And that really, really gives it a nice flavor. You can also do the same thing with garlic. You can saute it a little bit. Onions, same thing. People get very creative. The sky's the limit with imagination as to what you want to place in your jars to ferment. It's all those flavors just bursting in your mouth. And it really complements any food you put it on. It's like we put salsa. We have chips and salsa. Imagine like a salsa. Vegetable culture is a salsa that you can make for all your dishes. You can make them hot or just flavorful. It's up to you.
So just mix it with everything.
Everything. Beans, rice, chicken, beef, anything. You mix your salads even. It really just punches those salads. It just brings it up a notch or two. That's it. That's simple as that. That's how you make it. Now the next one we're going to make with ginger. So ginger and carrots go great together because carrots are sweet. And once the ginger ferments, those properties, the flavors of the ginger mixed with the carrot just really complement each other. So that's one of my favorites, and I'm glad you're going to try it out too. So there's one done. So the next one we're going to make is the ginger. So we're going to take another mason jar. We're going to put our, I'm going to mix the ginger with
the carrots.
I'm going to use all of that because there's quite a bit of carrots in there.
Yeah. Take all you want. There's more.
So mix the ginger with our carrot culture that we have so that they intermingle those flavors together as they're fermenting in the jar. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my carrot and ginger culture in first.
Ginger culture sounds like a club for redheads.
Okay, it does. And I'm a redhead. Never thought of it like that. Okay, so it's half filled and you want to tap it gently. Then you want to add, making a mess here. You want to add your celery. There are actual tools that you can purchase that will prevent the mess I just created.
Don't worry, we'll clean up.
They're little funnels, actually. They're funnels that can fit on a wide mouth jar like this, and you just put the funnel here. That way it's just easier to just scoop your veggies and put them in the jar. Okay, so we've got, now I'm gonna just tap these in. I see I still have a little bit of space up at the top, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some more of the celery in there until I can get it a little bit more filled.
Let's use it all.
And that's good enough right there. So we want all the vegetables submerged underwater, so you want it like that, just at that line. Then we're gonna add, we don't want any of the vegetables up on top of the wide mouth part of the lid. Now we're going to put our Himalayan salt in it. You hear the bubbles?
Yeah.
Just keep on going till you get to the top and all the bubbles are gone. And we want it to be like right about there. Then we're going to get this, close it up, and this is ready to go. So it would be a good idea too to put that this is ginger and this is garlic, so that you know which is which.
We'll do that with
I'm
marker.
gonna put the ginger on this side for now until we get that marker. And this is the garlic. Okay. And that's basically it. That's how you make fermented culture. Now,
amazing.
These will go in the cupboards, covered with a towel. And tomorrow at the same time, you're going to check them. You're going to open them over the sink, and you're going to hear that sound. That's normal. You're going to see the little bubbles coming up. That's normal. If you don't see the bubbles coming up or hear the sound, that's okay. That means the fermentation needs more time. That means it's colder weather out. That's all that means. So you're just going to keep them in the cupboards until when you open them, it makes that sound. And I would say after the third day, you're going to want to give it a taste test. So Antonio asked a really good question. How do you know what it's supposed to taste like if you've never made them before? Does it taste rotten? Does it smell rotten? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? No, it does not smell anything like rotten food. It doesn't smell like that. It will have a pickly aroma to it. It's going to also have a pickly taste to it. It's not going to taste rotten or smell rotten. It's a big, huge difference. So yeah, it's just going to be more pickly. It's going to have a pickly flavor and a pickly aroma to it. And when it has a really, really pungent, pickly flavor and aroma to it, that's when it's done. Usually it would be 3 days in warm weather. Cold weather, you're going to extend it to at least another additional 3 days. So you're looking at 6 days. That's basically how fermentation works. It works in a warm area. Now, if you want to go all out and, put some warm lights, or even one of those, I don't know what you call them, those warm electric blankets, a small one though, of course, maybe one for pets that you can just purchase one specifically for this. You can have that warm pad underneath these jars. On top of that warm pad, put your towel over it. I would definitely put a bowl so that you don't get your pad dirty or messed up, so that it'll catch any seepage that may drip as a result of the fermentation, which may happen, and it's very normal, and that's quite all right. Just when you open it and you notice that liquid is way too low, you're going to put some more of that Himalayan pink salt in it. That's why it's good to keep some of it.
So what happens if I leave it fermenting for 6 months and I forget about it? Will it blow up?
No, it won't blow up. It should still be good, actually. The longer you leave it, because you have to remember that what it's doing is it's... Maybe
the bacteria will have muscles.
It's good bacteria. It's good bacteria, so and you've left it.
The bacteria will be strong and have good muscles.
It'll definitely be. You'll have different strains, and the longer you leave it, the more strains of bacteria, good bacteria will grow, and that's going to be a good thing. I wouldn't recommend doing that because you want the benefits of consuming it.
Yeah.
For the good fauna flora in your tummy, and you will definitely notice a difference if you're consistently using the fermented culture on a daily basis, 3 times a day. For 1 full week, you will notice a difference. You will think clearer. If that was an issue, you're going to notice a difference. If you've been having problems going to the restroom, you're going to notice a positive difference there. If you've noticed that you tend to be bloated or gassy after a meal, you're going to notice a difference there. You're going to notice positive differences. Now, if you do not notice positive differences, that doesn't mean it's not working. Believe me, it's working. It's just going to take maybe a little longer for you to notice them, but it is working.
Okay, so everybody check out the way I am now. Notice me later.
Yes. So
let's see what changes come up.
So if you have any questions for me, I don't know if the number's coming up on the screen, or you can contact me at my elluminate.com. You can also subscribe and like this channel and ask me any questions. I'm here to help. I'm passionate about this subject matter, and that's it. I wish you all a wonderful day.
Thank you. Subscribe to Nerdopolitan for great content. Visit illuminate.com. That's ELLE
LUMINATE.com.